Paper Flowers, Chapter 5, By Any Other Name. Thomas and Joan are sitting down at Joan's kitchen table for a YouTube video. Earlier that week, Thomas had sent out a tweet to ask the vendors to send in questions and links for them to react to. The video was a lot of fun so far. They saw cute dog videos, inspiring coming out videos, and then there was the artwork inspired by his Vine stuff. Some vendors made misleading compliment-themed cards, and there were cute drawings of his teacher and that character. And of course there was that stained glass yin-yang drawing of the prince and his nemesis. "This is just amazing! You guys are so talented!" he gushes, not for the first time, as he studies the gorgeous detailing on the leather. This must have taken hours, and he can't get over the fact that something he did inspired that. The questions were fun to answer too. What subject is teacher's favorite? What is dad's favorite cookie? What was the funniest interactions he'd ever had after a stormy time? Some serious ones too. How did Joan know they were non-binary? What made Thomas decide to come out as gay to his Christian parents? How did he know it was the right time? Is it hard being out and proud while being a public figure? Tips on how to handle social anxiety. Okay, final question. I peeked on this one, Joan admitted, making Thomas let out a dramatic, scandalized gasp. I wanted to make sure we'd end the video on a fun note. Go on, read it. Joan is chuckling already, so Thomas quickly reads the comment. Thomas, love your content, but the people need to know. Is it Marcus or Kevin? Thomas frowns in confusion. There is a link, and when he clicks on it, he is brought to a long 3-block chain on Tumblr. He quickly reads through the first few posts and snorts. Oh my goodness, that is just amazing! He squeals in delight. He loves that the vendors are so enthusiastic about those two, and from what he can tell, both armies are battling it out in good fun. Well, I can't confirm nor deny either name at this time, but I think he'd very much approve of the one his faithful minions have chosen for him. Personally, I do think Kevin would be hilarious though. Joan chuckles and nods in agreement. We might learn the Dark Overlord's true name someday, Thomas smiles. But for now, take it easy guys, gals and non-binary pals. Peace out. Are you quite done, Princey? Virgil huffed. Roman had been laughing non-stop since Thomas heard about the debate going on in the vendors community. Sorry, I'll stop. Honestly, it's not that funny. Please do forgive me. Kevin! And just like that, he was doubled over again. Virgil groaned in annoyance. Okay, I'm done. I honestly didn't mean to. You can't always help it when you laugh, though. And you must admit it is a little funny, Roman said once he got a hold of himself, wiping the mirth out of his eyes. What's all this commotion about? Patton wondered as he entered the comments. Virgil tensed up. Patton had been different lately. He'd been checking if Virgil took enough food when he ate in his room, and that he ate everything when Roman coaxed him into eating with the others. He knocked more often to check if Virgil had laundry to be done, or to tell him that it was time for him to go to bed. He was taking this whole bed thing a little too seriously. And some part of Virgil wanted to just accept and appreciate the effort, but the other kept wondering why Patton was doing all that for him when he clearly wanted him to just move back downstairs already. It was in the little things. The way Patton would tense when he entered the room, how he would hesitate before smiling at him or greeting him, the way his voice wavered when he asked him stuff. And sometimes Patton would say stuff like that, I don't care how the seat does things, but up here we insert whatever rule Patton was trying to get Virgil to accept. Honestly, he didn't mind doing chores, even if it was redundant when you can just will stuff to be clean. He didn't mind making an appearance in the comments once a day either. Patton had just jumped from not involving him in anything into expecting him to fight him on everything. Sure, he'd roll his eyes and huff a little, but it wasn't that difficult. Patton clearly expected him to be, though. perhaps even expected him to get tired of the rules and leave. The problem with that was, Virgil had actually tried a few times in the beginning, and he couldn't go back downstairs. Not really. Not for more than a visit when Thomas was asleep. The rest of the time, he was stuck in the in-between, only able to go to the upper commons. Virgil's best guess at how this worked was that Thomas had acknowledged his existence, but was still trying to push him down for most of the time. It had been Janice's decision to reveal this truth. When Virgil had been triggered into a panic attack one morning out of seemingly nowhere, Janice and Remus had been very calm that day, and that had been exactly what had made Virgil worries that something big was coming. Janice realized this was not a healthy environment for him, so he lifted the denial on Thomas's anxiety and told Patton and the others that Virgil would be living with them from now on. Next thing Virgil knew, his room was moved up, just not all the way. He wasn't sure, but he felt like he'd gotten closer to the upper level since he and Roman became friends. Logan didn't seem to care one way or another, so that left Patton as the one to push him down, right? Virgil closed his eyes to calm down his reeling thoughts for a moment. He couldn't get swept up by his own head when in public. Princey got it by now, but how would he explain this to Patton? "Oh, hello, Padre. Kevin and I were just discussing the latest video and—" Then Virgil found himself crouching on the kitchen counter, ready for an attack. Patton's high-pitched squeal had been unexpected and terrifying. Roman, once he recovered from his own surprise, moved a little closer to Virgil, putting himself between him and the perceived danger. It helped calming him down a lot faster and adjust his position to look more casual and less terrified. Patton was still squealing and clapping. It seemed like he had missed Virgil's panicked reaction. "Your name's Kevin?" he gushed. "No," Virgil objected immediately, holding up both hands in a stop sign. "That's just one of the names the Fenders gave their villain character. Princey thinks he's hilarious for calling me that," he explains. Patton deflated. "Oh, well, it's nice the Fenders enjoy your character so much," he smiled awkwardly. Virgil suppressed the urge to roll his eyes. He wanted to get out of here, like now. "Padre, you must see the gorgeous artwork this Fender did about the prince," Roman declared as he grabbed Patton by the arm and led him away. Virgil finally, fully relaxed. Roman was really pulling through on every level, protecting him from Patton's parenting, deflecting Logan's tough questions, and even making Virgil feel appreciated. Whenever Virgil had a rough day of keeping Thomas safe, Roman would come find him in the field and just hang with him, humming his favorite music, set up one of his favorite movies with him, telling him stories of his grand adventures. Just hanging out. Once they did each other's nails. That was a lot of fun. Virgil had actually quit nail biting altogether because he didn't want to ruin them. At first, Roman had tried gifts and lavish praise, but that did not sit well with Virgil. He panicked over not being able to live up to the praise or give good gifts in return, and Roman listened and adapted. Virgil in turn had been trying to give Roman verbal praise whenever he did something nice for him, or did a good job with Thomas. It was hard for Virgil to say this stuff out loud though. Virgil entered his room trying to think of a way to thank Roman for today without making it awkward for the both of them. His eye fell on some purple craft paper, one of Roman's early gifts. He thought that maybe Virgil might enjoy creating things to take his mind off of his worries every once in a while. Virgil had never really found a good project to use it for. But now, when Roman got back to his room after bidding Patton a good day, he could feel a slow, rhythmic knock on his door. They never agreed on a code, but he could tell this was just Virgil trying to get his attention, but that he could take his time if needed. He decided to note down his new idea for a vine first so he wouldn't lose it. When he opened the door, Virgil was nowhere to be seen. Not that Roman noticed right away. He was far too focused on the purple paper rose hanging from the doorframe by a piece of yarn. It was clearly handcrafted, which must have taken Virgil quite some effort. He carefully untied the flower and brought it to his room, where he put it on his vanity in a little vase. He smiled softly at the little token of appreciation. A friendship with the Yemenite wasn't always easy to navigate, but it was definitely worth it. He picked up the idea again, confident it would be another hit. The dark overlord scowled at the bright morning sky. "Curse you, eternal sun!" He turns his attention to the star map on the table in front of him. "And every single one of you stars." He raised the picture of the solar system and glared. "And to hell with all your planets! I hate you all!" Then he dramatically turned and picked up a small ball, resembling a certain non-planet. "Except for you," he said softly, stroking the ball delicately, as if to comfort it. "You get me. You may stay."